if you can make sure your microphone's muted, okay, please. It's very important, Samir. Make sure your microphone's muted. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So thank you, sir. Very well said.
Thank you.
I want
Thank you.
I want to add one comment to what you said though, because I think you hit the nail on the head. Okay. So I don't necessarily agree that everything comes from our parents, but I think a lot of our influence comes from our parents. Okay,
And our peers.
and
No,
well,
sorry, I interrupted you. I didn't say only parents. I said
no,
teachers.
yeah,
Teachers,
yes.
social media, and
Yes,
parents.
yes.
Our
All.
surroundings. Our
So,
surroundings.
but the points you brought up, I strongly, the compassion, the generosity, the honesty, respect, all these different things. Jamie, can you mute your mic, please?
Sure, sure.
So the point is that all of these things are important. But anyway, very well done, Sarah. Very well done. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go. And again, we're going by the order that people joined us. So please be patient. If you joined us late, you're gonna get a chance for a little while. So just be patient, please. So, and I am recording this because I think it's a very important topic. So that's the reason why we're going to be really strict about the noise. So thank you for understanding. Alareza, can you share with us what you think, please? Alareza? Alareza. Okay, maybe he's away. So Yassine,
Yes.
tell us what you think, please.
Okay. Well, yes, I agree with Jamila. I think she went. That it is not very clear. The topic of morality and ethics. It has been always debated topic, especially by intellectuals, philosophers. You see that if we see some, let's give you the example of ethics for Karl Marx, for example. He might tell you economical reasons for when he wants to interpret the how do this values and ethics originated. For on the other hand, we can see also another very well-known intellectual philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. He might also tell you another story, and he in his book Genealogy of Morals. I mean, he will convince you in a way or another that there are other reasons for that, where the source of ethics. So it is it has been always debated. It's not very clear. Okay. Sorry. But there are some things, some ethics, which are principles. I mean, we cannot. There cannot be two people would argue about them. For example, if we say don't hurt other people, or respect your parents, or be faithful in marriage, or don't steal, don't lie, don't envy the others, don't kill, don't commit adultery. Yes, all these things, I mean, there are principles, there are standards, they are universal. But there are values, as we talked in other sessions before. Values depends on the individual. For instance, if I said that I like to smoke because I feel that it is good for me, I mean, this is might be I value smoking. Other people would disagree with me, but individual, I value these things. Is not maybe a lot of people. The third point I would like to say, if I want to talk about where did I get my ethics, it is a combination of things parents. Mostly I got my ethics from my parents. Also teachers, the society. Yes, I think this is what and mostly here I think people are really pretty much affected by religion, especially when they are like grown up. But mostly I believe that parents, they really formulate your set of ethics that you will live by in your life. And thanks.
Okay, thank you, Yassine. You're very, very honest. So I have a question for you. I'm going to give you the same question. I'm going to give you the same question you asked Kabir. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I'm going to give you two different scenarios. The first scenario is you're in the United States, and say you got you're in some program and you see an openly gay couple, and maybe they're part of a team that you're working with. Okay. So how are you going to react to that situation?
If I am by myself or with like my children or my
both.
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, I'm sure from myself. I mean, I think it will not have a negative effect on me because like I'm grown up and I know these things, and I really, I mean, respect their choice and everything. But that doesn't mean that I agree what they are doing. I mean, I see that it is wrong for me, but I respect. I cannot say that don't do that because I believe that it is wrong. But for me, if I have some children, especially if they are like children, they are like small and they cannot like make up their minds, and I want to raise them the way I want. So I might like change the place. I don't want them to be to be exposed to this sort of situations. So at least till they will, I mean, know what. I mean, until they are like adults. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a follow, and I'm not trying to put you in a hard spot. I'm just
yes.
No,
Okay.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
my question is this: you would agree that the childhood years are the most formative, meaning the most impactful of your life, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So you as an adult today, if you were by yourself and you were exposed to that environment, I'm assuming that you believe that that's their personal choice. You may not agree with it, but that's their personal choice, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So here's my question for you. And again, I'm not trying to put pressure.
Okay.
But
feel free, Rick.
Agree that these children, that this is the most important years of their life. Want your children to grow up knowing that people have choices about the decisions they make?
Is that?
And the reason, let me clarify. The reason I ask you this is because you're assuming that when they become an adult, then they can make their own choices about life. But wouldn't you agree that it's when we are children growing up that when we get exposed to things, gives us the experience and the knowledge necessary to make the right decisions when we're an adult?
Yeah, it is very tough question. It needs time. Yeah, but generally speaking, I really want to like raise my children the way I believe that it is right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I respect that. I respect that. And I know that's not an easy question to answer.
Yeah. Yes.
Because again, this is what is so fascinating, and this is why it's so important that we may not agree with somebody's idea about something. Right? You may not agree with Abir about what she said. You may not agree with me and what I said. Okay, but that's okay. You don't have to agree. You have your own ideas. You have your own principles that you follow, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Right?
May I answer your question? Rick?
Thank you, Rick,
well, I think I know what your answer is going to be, but go ahead.
Well, maybe you know me that well. Okay, well, the way I see it, we're all human first, and whatever society leaves us second. Like, I'm human first and American second. It doesn't really matter to me whether a person is gay, straight, whatever. I mean, to me, as long as the person is decent and honest, well, I believe them to be decent and honest, then there should be no problem. There's a lot of homophobia in the world, but a lot of Islamophobia, and that's really sad. I mean, what what does it matter if the person loves women or loves other women or loves other women or loves other men? We're all human. We have a choice to love whoever we want. It's really sad that society isn't like. Wait, I'm not done. I'm not. It's really sad that the society says that we have to love a certain person. We can love is free. I mean, that's all I'm saying. You know, we can be.
Okay. And again, that's your personal belief. Okay, just like Yassine has his personal belief, right? so that's the point here, is people have their personal beliefs. Okay, I think Samir, are you here now? If you're here, we'd be open to having you give us your idea. You keep coming in and out. So, Samir, are you here? Hello, Samir. Okay. All right, we can't hear you, Samir. I don't know, maybe something's wrong with you. Okay, Jamie, can you mute your mic, please?
Sure.
Yeah, please, I want to repeat, I know this is the last time I'm going to repeat it. It's really important. If you're not speaking, please make sure your microphones are muted. I don't want to remove people temporarily, but I will, okay? Because I think it's really important. This is an important topic, and I want to make sure the quality is what it should be, okay? So let's go ahead and move on. Samir, we can't hear you. I don't know, again, if it's the connection, but we'll go ahead and move on, and maybe we'll be able to have you tell us what you think shortly. Babuti, you're here, right, Babuti? Hello, Babuti.
Hey, Rick. Hi. I'm here, yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Yeah, my connection is not so good as it should be. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. First of all, I think when I looked at the topic, how do we as a society promote good ethic for society and our children? Yeah, I was tempted by saying that good ethic, the qualification of that should be removed, because good ethic, any society has its own ethic, and they think that is the good ethic. And that is when we think that we have universal good ethic. Yeah, I don't think so, because as a society living here in this part of the world, I believe I have some belief, I have some ethic that I follow, and other people living in the other side of the world having different ethic, and they think they are good, but take away from this. But when I get back to the topic, I think we promote ethic by
Okay, Babuti, we lost you. We lost you, Babuti.
Too bad.
So we're going to continue. Okay, so we're going to continue. I want to, and I know sometimes it's hard because the connection is not always cooperating with us very well. So, but let's go ahead and continue moving forward. We have about 45 minutes. I want to make sure everybody gets their opportunity to say what they think. Oh, go ahead, Babuti, you're back. Go ahead, try.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think it is very good, very difficult. Yeah. At that time.
Okay. Babuti, yeah, go ahead.
Too bad we had a point.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I was saying that at that time, where the society were living there was no trade at all between society. We tried to maintain alive some of these ethics because there isn't any exchange between people. And nowadays, when we are living in one society, and take the example of DNM right now. You are from America, there are people from Sudan, from Algeria, from Iran, from Afghanistan, and we are following the same things, yeah. And we we might say that we believe in many things in many things at the same time, because we are following and we are living in at almost the same society, and we are, thanks to internet, thanks to some of the social media, we are living, we know exactly what is happening right now everywhere in the world, and that make it easier for us to have the same, I will not good ethic, but we have some ethics that we share at the same. Nonetheless, we as a society, we maintain our belief, our ethic that is in our own society, and we take care of those ethics, because when you live in a society and you try to have a different behavior or act differently from the mainstream, yeah, you will be taxed or you will be looked at a very, very different person from that society, and you will be singled out, and you will be sidelined, and you can't live in that society. And that is why it is important for any person who want to live in any society to follow this the ethics that are valued by this community or by this society.
Good point.
Okay, thank you. And at the very end, your voice became very, very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Scott's beginning to like you, Babote.
Okay. So
Yeah.
thank you, Babuti, for sharing your and you know, one thing I want to bring up real quickly, because it just struck me that when we think about something we've been talking about in terms of the influences from our parents, so of course all of us are children, so we've all had parents to be influenced by. Some of us are parents. So Sarah, Babuti, let me see,
You.
myself, me, I think Jasmine, and I'm not sure about Thomasy and Rashid and Hiroki. I don't know, but I don't know. So anyway, my point is pretty simple.
I know, but I'm not going to tell.
Some of us, you know, have actually been in that role. Now, that doesn't mean that other people don't have a valid input, because they do. Everybody has an input. But I think that this is also worth noting that, you know, we have some people that have gone through this in terms of our children. You know, some of us act like surrogate parents. Maybe we have younger sisters and brothers, of course, and we try to provide that kind of guidance as well. Okay. But I think that that's also an interesting point to think about. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Rashad, how are you?
Hi, fine. Yes, I was listening to the conversation.
Okay.
To my point of view,
Well,
actually,
wait. We're not with you yet. Give us just a second. We have one more person, then it'll be your turn. Okay.
no problem, no problem.
Okay. So I want to go now to. Well, first of all, let's see if Samir, are you online yet? Samir. Okay, so let me go to Jasmine and give Jasmine's feedback, and then we'll go to you, Rashad, and then we'll go to the rest. Okay, so Jasmine, would you like to tell us what you think, please?
Yeah, I will talk to you 5 minutes later. I will listen now.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go to Rashad, then you could go after Rashad. So go ahead, Rashad. What would you like to say?
Okay. Okay. Actually, to me, ethics. Actually, I think it can vary. You know, to you, which is ethical, to me, it cannot be. It may not be ethical. So, but there is, I think, some global standard of ethics and ethics. But suppose that actually, if I don't know, I'm a Muslim, and in our religion there is some instructions that if you see anyone, he's committing sin or he's committing something which is contrary to our religion. So, I mean, in fact, he is Muslim. He's introduced. He always gets introduced with the people as Muslim. But you should just warn him. You should just let him know that it is not perfect according to our religious point of views. You should stop that sort of practice. So it is my obligation. So if I respect anyone's values, but it is all actually sometimes it may contradict to my religion, and but what I can say that yes, I have. Suppose you do something which I cannot agree with, but I should at least protest in polite way, not in bad mannered way. I should just say okay, or I should just discuss with him that please, so that he or she cannot be feel offended or insulted. So there are many techniques we can apply to avoid that sort of to avoid that sort of situation. Actually, it will be very much elaborative, so that's why I'm not going into detail about it. But many things we can do. But I can say that as Muslim, we also learn from our families, from our religions, from our elders, from our teachers, and I think you whether you accept or not, in most of the human lives, religion religions have a huge impact, which cannot be ignored, and social values also put impact on it. But yes, I may differ with someone, but I should express my opposition in polite way, not in impolite way. Suppose I'm going to through a street and I just saw a couple, a gay couple, they are kissing each other, but they're doing something which cannot be. And I'm with my family members, but they're doing something which cannot be seen as good. But I can just tell at least, please, if you like to do this, please go in a private, in a silent street, or in a private room or something like, so that people don't get embarrassed. Of course, you have rights to do this according to the law, but it is also our rights to maintain our to maintain our respect, our prestige, and so because when I will be with my family members, I will be with my children, they may ask lots of questions. What are they doing? Why they do this or that? It is very much embarrassing for me. It can be very much embarrassing for me. That's why I like to say that we should settle this issue in a technical way. We cannot be always straightforward in terms of dealing with those things. Sometimes we need to be a bit diplomatic, so we need to be a bit technical. That's my point. Thank you very much.
Okay, interesting, Rashid. Interesting. So I have a question for you. Okay.
Sure, no problem. No problem.
Okay. So here's my question. It's a very similar question that Yasin and I were discussing. Okay. So my point is, you're saying that if you're in a situation, and we're just using the idea of gay couples as one example. There's obviously many different examples, but that's just one example. Okay. So what you're saying in that situation, I'm assuming that you're saying this, that if you were in your country, right? Well, okay, so you're from Pakistan. If you're in your country and you notice this was going on in the public, so you would feel an obligation to ask them to, in your opinion, quote unquote, be respectful and go to a private place to show their affection for each other, right?
Yeah, but actually, in our country, nowadays, due to the Western influence, many people especially in urban areas, those people are available on streets, who do this sort of things. But actually, according to our religion, which persons have some feelings of or sense of dutifulness about, especially I can say about, I'm telling about Muslim people. Suppose I'm Muslim, so if I see something like this, so if I don't protest it, no problem will arise according to my religion. But at least I have to hate those things. And if I don't hate those things which is contrary to our religious perspective, I will not have right to claim me as a Muslim. So that is my religious obligation. Otherwise, if I see that, okay, if I have a chance to protest against this sort of thing, I should protest. But if I don't have chance, if I see that there's a huge crowd and they are supporting these things, and if I go to protest against these things, then I may be thrown into serious danger. That's why if I decide that, okay, I will not protest openly, but I will hate these things, and it can be possible. And if I just hate, if I express my disliking, not in public, but to myself, then Almighty God will forgive me. Otherwise, I will not be forgiven. But it doesn't mean that I will just attack someone physically or verbally, and I will insult someone. I don't have the rights, because what I like to say, if I show bullying activities, bullying tendencies to the people who belong to other faiths, I think they may be misguided that, oh, Muslims are bad, they're bad mannered, they are very bad guys. So what I did, I misrepresented my religion. So I should not do that.
Okay.
I should just try to make them understand, and I should try to discuss with those things. And if through my behavior, through my conduct, through my politeness, I may impress them, and then it will be okay, no problem. But I should not have rights to insult or to verbally or physically attack someone for doing this sort of thing or that sort of thing. It is not religion. It is not Islam.
Okay. So I'm just trying to let me just paraphrase what you said. So basically, the position you would take on this specific issue is that because of your religious belief, you believe it's wrong, okay, and that you feel you have an obligation to respectfully talk to somebody like that, right? And respectfully let them know that you believe it's wrong, but in the end, it's still their decision, right? It's their life, right?
Exactly, right. Exactly.
Okay.
But I cannot impose my
Okay, so we lost him. Okay, but I think he was going to say he cannot impose his religion or ideas on other people. Okay.
I like what he said.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I think it's a good way for, and we have the same problem. Again, it's not it's not specific to Muslims. You can find Christians that believe very strongly about this and will say the same thing. They might see a gay couple, and they may do the same thing, and they may take the same approach. The only question I was going to ask him, and it's a shame that he's gone now, is because he made a point about if he was with the children, that if the children are exposed to this, they may ask many questions. Actually, I think children should ask a lot of questions. Okay, I think when you raise children that learn to ask as many questions as they can. Okay, because remember what I think, and we don't have Yassine here now, but we found that basically, we all agree, I think, in general, that our childhood are the most formative years of our life. That's where we learn our, that's where we develop our opinions about things. Okay, that's where we develop our ethics. Okay, in many cases. Oh, I believe so. Okay. So I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. So, I think that, I would propose that we should allow our children to ask as many questions as possible, because we want them to think, my opinion, Rick's opinion, to think with an open mind. Okay. So anyway, thank you, Rashid.
Sorry, I was dropped. Sorry, and I took a long time to express my view. Sorry.
No.
Understand, I did it.
No. You brought up some good points. You brought up some very good points. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on. We have Jasmine. Are you ready to speak yet, Jasmine?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you please share with us what you think?
Okay. Thank you. One small family combined, society comprise. Our attitude, behavior, character, good manner, or is shaped by our family. And after that, radiation in a society. Ethics come from before family. Kids copy their parents like a role model. If the family show their kids to the right way and be able to role model, then explain the result of the bad behavior, it's the best thing. And then kids learn society rules from the school, and we should be teaching ethics in our school. After that, religion helps us how to develop ethics, right? And what's the good ethics? Or respect people, love people, understandable, helping the people, flexible, give them inspiration, being polite, being positive and trustworthy, tell the truth, no lie, treat the people with patience, try to be reasonable person. Some people like inconsiderate, selfish. For example, someone stealing something. And the worst things you can do is to say nothing and do nothing. I mean, instead of ignoring that bad attitude or action, we should warn. That's it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, okay?
Okay.
So you're a parent, right? You have children, right?
Yeah.
So for you, how do you feel about the idea that maybe you teach your children growing up? Well, first of all, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that it's okay for your children to be exposed to things that you may not agree with, but it's important for them to understand even the things you don't agree with, but at least understand that these other things exist, that people have other choices? Or do you think that they should, follow 100% everything you do, and you should keep these other things from them?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Can you explain it a little bit?
Okay, so I'm going to use the same example we were just talking about with Rashid, and I'm going to use the example of the gay couple walking down the street. And let's say you have your children with you. Are you going to try and avoid those situations, or are you going to try and just allow them to observe or see that kind of situation, to know that there's always another side, right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as the perfect person. Just like there's no such thing as the perfect way of doing something. There's always somebody that has an alternative idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
We may not agree with it, but that's still it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. Okay, it's still an alternative idea. So, I'm going to ask you the same question as a parent that we talked about with Rashid. How would you handle that situation if your children were with you? How would you handle that?
After observe that kind of situation, and then I can warn them, and it's not correcting. You should do something like this, and show the right way. I think. Right.
Okay. Let me paraphrase so I can make sure that we clearly understand. So you would take the position of that you don't agree with it. You would not necessarily prevent them from seeing the situation, but what you would do is you would still, so if you're walking down the street with your children and you see a gay couple showing affection for each other, right? Okay, so you would not try to hide that from your children, but what you would do is later on, maybe you would talk to your children and say that from your belief, your belief system, that you don't think that is correct, or that's right. That's what you would do?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And you know what? And that's fair enough, because I think, again, we each have our ideas. We each have different belief systems. Some people believe more strongly than other people in certain things, and that's fine. We live in a world where hopefully people can have their choices and follow their beliefs. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would hate to live in a world where people are not allowed to believe the way they believe. I might not agree with it. Okay. Just like I wouldn't necessarily agree with certain things that were said here. But that doesn't mean I can't respect somebody for having their own idea, because that's still their own idea. Okay, and I can't, I'm not God. I can't judge other people, right?
When you face this kind of situation, you don't like warming people and pay attention. Don't do that, or instead of ignore, what do you do?
Well, okay. So you live in a country. You live in Turkey, a country that has a lot of different religions. Okay, right? You guys, in many cases, in some cases, have a pretty open society, right? In some cases, right? So so especially in the capital and in large cities like Istanbul or Ankara, they're probably exposed to a lot of things that that they would be exposed to these kind of things. So, I think that, for me, and I can give you guys my example. Okay. Again, I may not want to live that lifestyle. That's not what I would choose to live that lifestyle. But, if I have a friend, and I do have friends that are gay. Okay. And that's fine. They're still my friends. Okay. They just because they're gay doesn't mean they can't be a friend. They can still be a friend. Okay. Because those two things are completely separate. Okay. To me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That reminds me, Rick, of that, the old Native American saying, you cannot judge a person until you've walked a mile of their moccasins.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay.
That means, you shouldn't judge another person unless you understand where they come from.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying, we're all human first, and we are second. Like, I'm human first, I'm American second. And Hiroki is human first, Japanese second.
Right.
Labels are just the things that society gives us. It's a bit unfair, I think.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead. We're gonna try to get through because we're almost out of time. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak. So what we're gonna do now, let's go to the rest of the people that joined us and make sure. And then if we have any time left, we could talk about it afterwards. So Hiroki, would you like to tell us what you think, please?
Yes, and
This is gonna be good.
follow the concrete ethics kind of thing. Actually, the ethics can be used in thinking back to history or now, even now. Some people use ethics to oppress people. So I think it's not ethics actually in true sense for me, and it's called dogma, just so without humanity. So the target usually the minorities or people get is a margin of the society, or so they claim that they don't follow the rule, and I don't follow such kind of ethics, but I follow the humanity, like some people say human. Yeah, Jamie says human first, and because if I betrayed my humanity, probably I would regret after that. So that kind of, if the ethics is based on such humanistic feeling, I would respect that ethics. But just saying ethics to oppress people, I don't believe, how can I say, I don't follow that such things. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Hiroki. You know, and something that we've talked about in the past that, and this has to do with some of our previous sessions where we were talking about stereotyping, and Jamie mentioned earlier, like, you know, putting labels and kind of what you just talked about, you know, as well. When you humanize somebody, you take away the country, you take away their country of origin, you take away their ethnic background, you take away their race, you take away their gender, you take away, you know, any other factors like such as that, and you look at the person as an individual, right? That they share the same individual, and I would say in 99% of the cases, they share the same individual desires, that they want to have a happy life, they want to maybe perhaps have a family, they want to, you know, have perhaps a career where they can enjoy doing the things they want to enjoy. Okay, that in general, when you humanize people and you take away the religious filters, you take away the country of origin filters, and these other things, what you find is that it makes a big difference, right? Yeah. Because again, when you put a label, and this is something Rashid was saying. Okay, for example, he said, as a Muslim, this is the way I believe. Well, I would make the argument there are other Muslims that believe differently than him. Okay, that does that mean that he's right or wrong? No, they just have different opinions, right? Because at the human level, separate from the religion, they might have different ideas. Just like the way I consider myself a Christian, even though I don't do a good job. Okay, but I would still practice some of the basic principles. Okay, and I would never try to make somebody believe the way I believe, because that's their choice. Okay. But the point is that, you know, when you strip away these labels and all this other stuff, these filters, the same basic principles, and in most cases, I would believe, the ethics apply to all of us. Okay. Mm-hmm. So,
and if I can like add, I've noticed in Japanese culture, and Hiroki can correct me if I'm wrong. The most important thing in Japanese culture is respect. Respect for your parents, respect for your friends. I mean, it's like the culture is big on respect, and if someone in Japan isn't respectful, then it's a really as a down thing.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead. Thank you, Jamie. Let's go ahead and thank you, Hiroki, for sharing what you shared as well. I think, Thomas, you said that you're in a crowded place, so I'm assuming it's going to be noisy for you.
Sorry, Richard.
Yeah, you sound good. Okay. Do you want to tell us what you think?
I am enjoying for this very, very good discussion, but my children do many crowded around me, so
okay.
So I don't want to bother. This is.
Okay. Well, if you want to, if you want to, I tell you what. Let's come up with a solution. If you want to write what you think, we can read it for you. If you want to write down what you think, okay? right?
Sorry?
If you want to write down what you think about this topic, we can read what you think.
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you, Thomas C. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay, so let me go to, okay, we lost Saif. Ali Reza, are you back, Ali Reza? We didn't hear you. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Take it go.
Okay, Jay. Okay, Ali Reza, go ahead. Tell us what you think, please.
Okay, ethics in our society is a powerful feature that a society can have. I mean, and it is sort from, I mean, we cannot just say that it is just sort from one specific place. It's come from maybe in government, it's sort from a small family, it's more from groups, education standpoint in schools, and it is sort from everywhere, I mean. And shape, it can help each other to shape a good, ethics in our society. And some people do believe that if we do a government put a very good rules in society and everyone will follow it, and then we will have a good ethics in our society, and we will be successful and have a healthier society. And this is my point of view and about the ethics.
So, well, let me ask you a question, Ali Reza, okay?
Yeah.
Because I think you're another good example of somebody, and what I know about you. Okay, I've never met you face to face, but what I've learned about you from being here online with us is that you're actually I think a really good person, I believe. Okay, and I say that because I believe that everything I've heard you express has been that you're open-minded to listen to what other people think. You may not necessarily personally agree with some things, but you're open-minded enough to at least listen to what they think, right?
Right.
And that's very important. Again, we may grow up in a certain environment, but as long as we're willing to respect other people enough to understand their point of view, that's a big step. So I just wanted to say that about what you said, okay?
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you too.
Okay, so Mila.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Vic.
Okay, so please share with us what you think.
Okay, I take 1 minute. Just 1 minute, because we have a lot of different opinion and I totally agree with everyone. But I'd like to mention several fields of ethics. We have 3, maybe more, but I know 3 fields of ethics. There are meta-ethic, normative ethic, and applied ethic. What is meta-ethics about? It's about where our ethical principles come from. And this field of ethics discovers some universal principles, universal truth, maybe the will of God, and something like that. Normative ethics has more practical tasks, and this kind of ethics, not just this kind of ethics, but a lot of philosophers, they are speculating about our duties, ethical duties. And applied ethics just it has several issues such as abortion, animal rights, harassment, capital punishment, euthanasia, these very complicated issues. And I'd like to talk about normative ethics because I love one philosopher, Ross, and I love his principles. Oh, not principles, but duties. He created, I don't remember, maybe seven principles, and it seems to me they are very important. Even in in 7th century, maybe, or in 18th century, never mind. So the first duty is the duty to keep promises. He called this duty fidelity. Then the duty to compensate others when we harm them or when we make them harm, right? Then the duty to thank those who help us, so we should be gratitude. And also justice, this is the duty to recognize merit. Also, the duty not to injure others, and the duty to improve the conditions of others. And the one duty I love it most of all, the duty to improve our intelligence and in Kant, he also said that we have moral duties to oneself and others, and one of them is developing our talents. Why I'm talking about this, why do I like these duties? Because it seems to me that we can't create ethical society or even society when ethic is important and moral principles are important if we are not evaluate, if we are not, if we talk about just we can be kind, but if we stop improving ourselves, we just stop being kind. We became wild again, it seems to me. And about applied ethics, it seems to me that a constitution just has this principle. Any constitution has these principles of applied ethics, but every constitution is just words, just yeah.
Okay, Mila, are you here? Hello, Mila.
Protect constitution. Okay. Yes, constitution. It said that constitution protect people, but we, our behavior, protect these principles. Not principles protect us. That's it.
Okay, well, you very, very well done. Okay, you did a great job, and it looks like you did some homework and research, and thank you very much for that, because it really makes a big difference when we think about this from a what's the right word? From an analytical standpoint. Okay, the way you laid it out was actually very informative. Okay, now you're going to make me do some more homework when we're done. Okay, so thank you for that.
Doesn't count.
But something you said, I think is also really, really important. And you said something at the very end there, I thought that was a very good point, is that words by themselves, right? So if you look at, ethics again, if you go to any kind of ethics class, like for a lot of us, like for me and my other job, it's required to go through training, workplace ethics. We're required to go through training every year. Okay, so we have to go through training to make sure that whatever we're doing is ethically compatible with the organizational ethics. Okay, so and to me it's good because it reinforces certain points. Okay, that you brought up. Okay. But the key word is that we can look at a piece of paper and we can see the word compassion, we can see the word generosity, we can see the word respect, we can see the word tolerance, okay? Kindness and integrity and honesty and all these other, they sound wonderful, right? They sound so wonderful. But the behavior to back up these words is actually what's most important, right? Because it's very easy to say something. It's not always easy to behave with what you say or in accordance with what you say. None of us are perfect. Okay, I don't care how strongly you believe in your ethics. None of us are perfect. We've all done things that violate our ethics, probably at some point in time in our life, right? Okay, but they are. You guys have heard the term moral compass. You know what that means? Have you guys heard that word before, moral compass? No? Yes? Maybe? Maybe not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so a moral compass is something that gives us guidance, right? That allows us to understand what their action we're taking, again, not words, but the action we're taking or the behavior we're exhibiting, okay, follows a certain guideline, right? So when we think about leaders, okay, when we think about leadership, whether they're in charge of your country or whether they're in charge of a group that you have at your school, whatever it is, okay, that we think of leaders as being a source of a moral compass. They have a moral compass, right? They lead us in a direction that and they inspire us in such a way that gives us that moral roadmap or path, okay? Such as somebody being honest, okay? If someone says, oh, honesty is so important, but then you find that every other day they're lying to you, well, they can say the word honesty all day long, but they're lying to you, or you find out they're lying. Of course, they lose any credibility about that, right? Or respect. Okay, they say, oh, I respect all people, but then you find out that they only respect people they like or people that look like them. Okay, well, that's not respect. Okay, that's selective respect. Well, I wouldn't even say it's respect at all. Okay, that to me is discrimination. That's not respect. Okay, so when we think about these words that we often talk about, particularly when it comes to our ethics, the most important part is not about the words, but about the actions and the behavior that we'd exhibit as they relate to those words. That's the most important part, right? Because again, words are important. We know that words are very important because in some cases they inspire us, and in other cases they make us feel very frustrated when we hear people say certain words. So, really words are important, but the actions that back up those words or the behavior that back up those words is what gives us our integrity. We talked about that during the L session, right? We talked about integrity. What does it mean? Okay, and integrity is doing what you say you're going to do. Okay, that's how you build credibility. Okay, and that's how you gain personal integrity. Is if I believe a certain way, my actions are going to back up my belief. Okay, so I think this was really a very, very well done. All of you did a really great job. Again, we can disagree with each other. There's some things I heard here I don't necessarily agree with, but out of respect, because I respect all of you, I respect your opinion. Okay, it doesn't mean I agree with your opinion, but I respect it. Okay, and that's really the most powerful thing about this word respect is that again we can have different ideologies. Okay, I think most of us believe in some common values. Most of us believe in certain things. We might have some slight differences in some areas, but that's what makes the world go round, because we're not always going to believe exactly the same way. We're not always going to act the same way, and that's fine. We don't have to, right? That's what diversity is about: a difference of opinion, difference of ideas. Okay, but if we share the most important things, if we share those common values, and I'll go back to something that Yassine, that you said, and Rashid said. The situation that you talked about, I would not approach it the same way. But then again, I have a different belief. Yeah. Okay, yeah. But I respect the point that I think both you and Rashid said, that if you saw that situation, you're not necessarily gonna, you're not gonna attack that person because that's the way they believe. Yeah. Okay, you just have your own personal belief, so that in the case of your children, for you, or in the case of Rashid saying that he might respectfully talk to them. Okay, that's a big step, because again, we can disagree with people, but as long as we maintain the integrity of respecting others, even if we don't agree with them, that's the most important thing. So very, very, very good discussion. Great discussion. By the way, we recorded it. We actually have it on YouTube. Okay. So if you want to hear yourselves talk about this, Johnny, you're still here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if we want, we could share the link in a little bit. That way you guys can hear yourselves talk about it. Again, it was a great discussion. Okay.
I think we can have the recording later on, but we are live right now.
Yeah. Okay, well, and that's fine. So again, thank you all of you for sharing your ideas. It was really good. I learned a lot from all of you. So thank you so much for, again, we don't all agree on some things, and that's fine. We don't have to all agree on everything. The world would be pretty boring if we always agreed with everything that everybody else said. Okay. I heard the word the other day about a salad, and a salad with just lettuce by itself is not very exciting, right? You need to put some tomatoes in there, maybe put a little cheese in there, maybe put some fruit in there, right? then your salad becomes very interesting, okay? Because you add all these different ingredients to your salad and makes it much more interesting. And that's how people kind of are, right? Is that, we're a mixture of different things, and that's what makes it so exciting that we have this, diversity and variety of opinions. So again, thank you. And so tomorrow we have a debate on the same topic, but we're going to do it in a debate format. So we're going to be able to pick teams and have different sides, and we'll discuss it from a debate standpoint. And again, Yasin, good luck with your debate tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Rick. Thank you very much.
Sure, I'm sure you're going to do good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you, everybody. And again, I want to promote something that Beer is doing. She registered for the Middle East Peace Initiative Leadership Program in the United States for this year. So the best of luck for her and her selection for that. Okay.
Pray for me, guys.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Mila. Thank you, Hiroshi. Thank you, Rashid. Thank you, Yasin. Thank you, Alareza. Thank you, Abir. Thank you, Johnny. Okay. Okay. And I want you guys all to notice one thing. I want you all to notice one thing. Jamila had the most to say at the beginning, but she didn't even stay around for the end. Okay. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.